the only work that matters is the work that no one sees. It shows who you really are instead of who you say you are, is a quote from Chris Williamson in one of his podcasts. Like it's by far one of my favorite lines of his, and it really like hit me so hard when I resonated with this so good, like so badly back then when I was a hard watcher of his podcasts. Like nowadays, I don't really watch him. It's not like time by time. I just am so like busy with my works and my schoolwork, my going ongoing throughs. But like so, like the point is, you are who you are. Like the kind of things that you're actually interested in are the things that you do in the middle of the night while not sleeping. You procrastinate sleeping while watching reels, playing video games in order to avoid something or in order to stimulate yourself because you are not captivated, you are not compelled, or more like you're not appealed to wake up early, sleep early, and wake up early. You're not excited. Nothing really motivates you. Nothing really pushes you forward. I'm not saying like if you sleep late, that means that you don't have anything else going on in your life, but more like most of the times when people, even among people who sleep really late, like I myself, when I used to like lock in readings, or when I loved one thing, when I was so obsessed with one thing, I used to just spend like hours doing it every like day and night. But still, that didn't mean I had nothing else to. I wasn't motivated. Like when I wake up at 11 compared to when I wake up at 7 or 11 or sometimes even 1 p.m., like the first thing that comes into my mind is like I just wake up, just wake up. It's just like the easiest way to put yourself into a task, and it directly links to something else that you're going to do the moment you wake up, because obviously when you wake up, isn't like you're not gonna just end up like sitting on your bed for like hours. Obviously not. Like the longest time I waited for my brain to kind of come back and refresh was like not even 5 minutes. We really don't need that much of time to refresh our brain when we need to, but we overestimate the kind of times that we need, and we underestimate the time, the play times and wasted times. You would say a few more scrolls, or like I'll just be playing video games in till 12. But what actually happens if you just sit there for 5 minutes, everything will make much more sense. You just stop stimulating your brain from consuming something, especially, and while just you just sit with your thoughts, or like read a book, or just do nothing, literally nothing. But you cannot do nothing because you sit with you stay silent, and silence is the loudest. I always say this. So you get to know what are the thoughts that you are thoughts that are like kind of that you are going through lately. So it kind of helps me a lot whenever I feel like I'm lost, or I don't know like what to do. Whenever I feel like I need something to stimulate me, like I kind of like cleaned my room, or like I did all the things, and I feel like I need to do something, but I don't know what. I just sit there. The point isn't that like when no one else, like no one's watching, we don't arise our standards when others are watching. It's more like we fall our standards when no one's watching. So so basically, the things that you would do in late at night is who you actually are. So it's better to, instead of keep keep how do I say this? Like keep immerging yourself into this dopamine trap. Just like all you need is like 5 minutes of rest, like 5 minutes of sitting with your thoughts. And I find this extremely helpful in any situations. It's like if I had to choose a tip, like a life hack, that just works like in every, like almost every single situations, and like it's so universal. Like you can apply this to anything, and you don't need the kind of discipline of like David Goggins, or like fuck happiness. We send it every single time. Like we're just gonna use every single time, every single second of a day into working and make it productive progress. Like you actually don't need that. I mean, to get to that point, I don't know if you actually want it, because they are the kind of people um who are kind of like, how do I say this? Not culprit, how do, like a victim. They are the victims of fulfillment deprivation fulfillment trap, the hedonic treadmill trap that just traps you in this cage that you'll never be you never even feel fulfilled, but you just gotta keep on going because that's the only thing that makes you feel alive, and that kind of detaches you from the reality. And I think it become like most of the things, like people would just pretend, even on especially on the internet, and the society reward the people who are good at pretending. People would like listen to the audience, will always listen to the loudest voice, just like all the entertainments that nowadays are kind of Mr. Beast beastified, let's say. I think that's the best way to put it. Like it's just so easy to consume. They now make it like with lots of edits, like it has nothing inside it. It's so void. It has no uniqueness in content. And like most of like biggest streamers, included, it just feels like no matter how someone's being trying to be balanced. I also talked about this in my YouTube channel about extremists will always win. They'll always be rewarded because they are always people would rather stick to what's not true but is certain, instead of sitting with uncertainties and leaving it there. Sitting with uncertainties, that's the thing that humans hate the most. Like they would rather get hurt instead of sitting in uncertain thoughts. So that's why extremists always appeal to the majority of audience. And that's exact trick that lots of politicians are using, and lots of um, YouTubers are using. Social media, big social media people. How do I say? Influencers are using. And I don't know. Like I think it's just like part of the society, part of our human nature. Well, like even when used to like watch so many YouTube videos and like stream like 24/7, I used to have this moment in my life whenever when I had nothing else to do, I just come back to home, and after finishing school, I do my schoolwork. And the moment I finish my schoolwork, I was just like surf YouTube. My brain will just start typing YouTube on my keyboard, even though I had nothing to watch. Nowadays I'm more like I just watch a couple of creators or like some more, and it's like I want to watch their video, not like I want to surf it and like endlessly looking for some kind of like a video that will stimulate me for next week or this week. But I had that kind of moment, and I'm man enough to admit it, to say it out loud. And I went through it, and I understand how like exactly it feels, and how influences use this into their favor. And most of the times when like the kind of patterns that I recognize now, I like notice lately, is that people who try to be authentic, like I sound a little bit weird because like, oh, I'm being authentic, but I'm not getting like attraction traffics, like not at all. Like I'm outside, regardless of me, just in general, people who's trying to be authentic and who's trying to like, oh, but like this might affect those people as well, and it's actually not like scientifically proven point, or like I don't have like strong backbone to kind of reason this claim, and they wouldn't say it. But like these people are the real ones, but they'll never get the spotlights. When people are saying like lies, like literal lies, uh, and let's say like a little bit in a funny way, that's exactly what people like the most, because truth is difficult. truth is difficult. Truth comes after questioning and doubting and arguing, and you gotta define so many terminologies since the language is flawed. The way we use language is flawed, but also language itself is fundamentally flawed. So it takes a long time, and you'll very likely end up in like in uncertainty, like not a crystal clear answer, like a crystal clear conclusion. That's why people would rather sit with this extreme idea. I mean, obviously, I understand, like it's just a human nature, just like we are psychologically appeal to religion and dogmas. Like these are rules, these are rules that you should follow, and you just gotta stick to it. You just mindlessly follow it, and that's most of the times what people want. And it's also like I would extend this idea into this how the society is going on, like especially in education and what society tells you to do in every age. Like around this age you should be doing this, around this age you should get climb this corporate ladder, and around this like you should be married or like have something going on with another like have a partner or something, have a girlfriend or boyfriend, and it's all this, like it's some kind of a game, and like giving a game giving you tasks, giving a game giving you goals to pursue, visions, all the things, so that you don't get bored, and you become the part of society in a good way. But it's just making another corporate, how do I say, a corporate, I don't want to use the word NPC. It just sounds like I'm degrading them, but it's more like the easiest way to follow, the easiest way to live the life is just follow what you got to do, but you just mindlessly just follow, and you'll get the reward. Maybe not too much, like depending on your situation and depending how much of privilege you have from your parents, or you're from background. I mean, background literally means your family. So, but yeah, like it really is that simple. I think like it's we are attract and we appeal to a simple and already done simple ideas. So we would rather follow simple things rather than uncertainties. And that's why people fall into this trap in society as well, and then even in the YouTube, social media, so on and on. I kind of sidetracked while talking about how, well, like what you are, what actually who you actually are when you're not doing, when no one's actually seeing looking at you, and like when no one's around you, let's say. I mean, nowadays it really feels more off. Like wherever you go, you cannot tell anymore. Like it's not like you cannot tell what that person actually wants, or like is he like, does that person actually even want what he says that he wants, like every single Instagrams look just like the same, copy and paste of his closest friends, like, and it's like they are just trying so hard. You can already tell they are just trying so hard to be another copy of something. But like also at the same time, I'm gonna say this because there's a very strong counter argument to this, is that we all are a copy of someone else, and that person also is very likely a copy of someone else. So like my idea, like my point isn't like don't be a cop, like try to be your original self. But like obviously at the end, even if you try to be original yourself, like I taught myself, like I built this myself, like brick by brick, all the kind of things. Those bricks all came from someone else, But obviously the key difference is like consuming. Yeah, the key difference is that consuming and just sitting with your thoughts, just answering your questions inside slowly, one by one, even in uncertainties, even even in uncertainties. So like obviously when you are sitting with your thoughts, or like writing, or writing, especially writing anything that comes in your mind, versus consuming social media. Let's say you're watching a YouTube video, like you could argue, because that's what I thought, like, aren't they both just stimulating the brain in different ways? And I came up with this conclusion that you aren't solving anything. You're just following this track, when you're consuming. You're following this track, that like agenda and and yeah, and frames framework that other person has already built. And when you're dealing with yourselves internally, that's exactly when you develop as a person, as a human being. And also that's when you learn more about yourself. And that's the kind of activity that requires much more knowledge and like much more time sometimes, and it requires you to actually do something instead of just like sit there and watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast. I mean, podcasts. I don't know about podcasts. I feel like it's just a bit just a bit boring version of YouTube videos, which is good, like boring in a good way. I personally view podcasts just as same as other YouTube videos, but like it really depends on the topic and what kind of like a podcast that you watch. But yeah, like my point being, it's like building your own originality from from the scratch is obviously difficult, so you got to have some kind of backgrounds, or like any kind of frameworks of you appeal to, and you deep dive in, and you work on other things, and you compare it, and that's exactly how you have your own original opinions, which isn't original in a sense, but like you made it, you raised it. And no matter how big that plant seems like from what other person shows, it has a quality and virtue that not those kind of like big trees, like look big seeming looking trees, has, because those are just like a copy of another thing. And that's like the easiest way to kind of build your ego around like fakes, so yeah, like I just see this everywhere. And like it's not like you see a unique person. I'm not saying like you should have a unique background. Like, I don't know, like I lived in Mexico for my past 10 years, and it's something unique. Like everyone, like it's so random. I understand, like every single time I tell this someone else, and like, yeah, they get shocked. But like it's also like so many things. I'm not saying like you should only your background should be can be something unique, but like anything that you have interested in, or like you could have interested in like anything, like multiple things at the same time. For example, like I love playing piano. I'm very into classical and also jazz, but also to some extent, like I'm also interested in like modeling before traveling, or like certain countries like the UK, or what was the I actually forgot the little village that I was kind of looking into. But anyways, like you can have any kind of interest, and not try to like something that everyone likes just because you want to follow this track. And it's like I feel like you get to know about that person when you know what he's like interested in, but and also at the same time what those people that he looks up to, like those people that he thinks they are cool, like, but obviously not in a way like, oh, I find Messi a really like so fucking cool. Yeah, I mean, okay, like it's not that kind of cool. Like something that is someone that like admiration, like I want to be like him, like he's my role model, he's like internet my the how Dr. Jordan Peterson was once called like internet father. I think that's a really good way to put it. Like that's exactly when he kind of blew up during COVID. I think it was like kind of before COVID when I actually looked it up. But yeah, like I also want to really talk about deeply about him, and how how I resonated with his ideas and his ideologies, and what I didn't, what I kind of backfire, what I would push back on. But not in this video, yeah, not in the future, because it's gonna be a very long one. Yeah, people really are. I think it's gotten to the point where you cannot tell. Like you can just literally just categorize everyone in one little box. Like I don't know, like three different boxes, and oh yeah, you fall into this. Okay, cool. I guess. And the best way to check yourself if you're lying, I mean, if you're lying to yourself, like if you are actually being the person that you are presenting others to others, is is acknowledging and being aware of the things that you do before sleep. That's the takeaway of this video. Thank you for watching.